Hey, loves, how are you? I'm back and I have a lot that's been processing for sure. Even though I was quiet with you guys for the week, I was definitely working pretty deeply in the energies, which I knew was going to happen. So that was all good with that. I just really wanted to hop on today, and my guidance was to just do a heart space check in between the divine masculine and divine feminine collectives, kind of just get a pulse on what's going on in the bigger planetary collective energies, and perhaps some of what I experienced over this past week will come through, but we're just going to open it up and see what wants to come through today. Hope you guys are all well. I definitely missed you. Um, so there you have it. So here we go. Let's see what we got. Okay. This is interesting. I got three cards and I'm guided to do a message from the masculine perspective and the feminine perspective with the same cards. That's never happened before, so we got something new already. So I got the Eight of Swords, the Hermit, and the Emperor. And immediately, right out of the gate, I felt that the divine feminine collectives are feeling like there's a lot going on that they're not seeing. There is like this old version of her that has been kind of like blinded or felt trapped, felt imprisoned almost. But as she's allowing herself to observe this process of what she's not able to see, and just kind of allow herself to go into this meditative state, asking for the truth, asking for the clarity. What I'm sensing is that as she can rise up to a higher perspective, almost like the eagle eye perspective, she can see where she was kind of partaking in all of the spider web of energies, which, that's just kind of how our planet has been. So, but through this process of realizing, like, it's almost like it's coming through more and more as almost like a soul retrieval energy. The parts where you're not able to see or sense, or where you feel kind of blinded or cut off, or like your hands are tied, like there's only so much you can do. It feels to me like this is actually happening to call you to go inside deeper and resolve any inner feelings of feeling imprisoned. Almost like we may have external blocks, or we may have things we're not able to see or feel or sense, or we might feel blocked or barricaded, or our path feels impeded externally in the outer world. And what is coming through with this is actually to go inward and allow yourself to unravel and dissolve the beliefs around feeling limited, feeling blocked, feeling, oh, what's the word? I can feel the energy of it. It's almost like feeling non-existent or unimportant or unseen. It's like if there's some parts of you that are feeling that way or feeling frustrated, like things are not mattering for your existence in some levels. Like, your existence matters, but this coming through almost like there's these moments where you're like, I'm working so much and I'm working so hard. Does it really matter? Am I really getting anywhere? And what this is saying to me is to allow yourself to go inside and then level up and out, like the eagle eye perspective, and then unravel any of the beliefs around the feeling of not knowing what's coming, or Gosh, I can't even put the full essence onto this energy that I'm feeling. Let me tap into it and express what I'm feeling. It's almost like a void point, right? It's knowing more is coming, knowing you are meant for more, knowing you're capable of more, knowing that you've worked for more and that you deserve more, and not understanding why it's not coming to fruition. And what this is saying to me is it's not about the version of you right now. There's old versions of you in the past that had limiting beliefs that are needing you to come retrieve them and free those parts of yourself. This is why it was feeling so weird because it's not you now. Like you've done this work. That's why this might feel weird. But this is a sense like basically what you've learned. Now you can go share the results with those past versions of yourself. Okay, loves? So it's like if there are any weird pockets or it feels like those old energies or patterns of uncertainty, that's okay because some of it just is going to be uncertain. But if it's uncomfortable or frustrating energy, allow yourself to go back to maybe a space and a time where you felt that in the past, but you didn't have the tools and the skills and the abilities to deal with it like you do now. And go sit with that version of yourself and support that part of you. And obviously, this can go for masculines or feminines, but it's coming through the feminine's perspective. Okay. And so, with the emperor coming in with this, I feel like there's definitely some of you that are feeling maybe imprisoned or trapped or uncertain about your connection with your masculine or within a relationship to a masculine. But if we also bring this down to the inner union energy, I feel like this is giving a clue. It's coming through that part of this feeling, part of what's going on with this, part of even this external mirror of, say, a masculine who you're connected to that you might feel uncertain about or not sure what's going on. It feels like if you can also pan out, look at these situations from the past, but then also bring in your internal masculine energy to help you sort it through and get a new perspective as well. Okay, so I know a lot of you, especially here, have been really working on those inner union energies. So allow that logical, contemplative, stable side of you that to come in and view it with a new perspective. Because I'm also getting, okay, roll with me. So it could be your masculine, it could be your feminine side. But as you dive into this, it's not just going into like whatever mindset you were in at this time. Okay. You were probably in your other energies, like a wounded feminine or a wounded masculine energy. This is just what's coming through. So roll with me, right? To some degree. You just didn't know any better. You can't know what you don't know till you know it. When you dive into this, you may start to notice that, say, oh, wow, I was really kind of coming from my wounded masculine, or oh, hey, that was like my wounded feminine, right? And I would like you to then look at it from the opposite perspective. So, from the more healed feminine or the more healed masculine, but then also the opposing side, right? So if it was a wounded feminine, look at it from the healed feminine, but also look at it from the healed masculine side. I know this is a bit, but I think you guys get where I'm going with it. And it feels important because it's about the perspectives and it's about pulling in the other aspects of you that you've been working on and that you've been playing with. And really, when it boils down to it, you don't have to get this intricate as I'm describing. If that resonates and it gives you something to kind of fish with, like kind of like bait, roll with it. If it feels like too much, don't even try to figure it out or work with all of it. Just allow yourself to go to retrieve those parts of yourself. It can be that simple as just setting the intention like of dropping in the results of all of who you are now into the past versions of you. So if old memories come up or old situations come up, or say you visit places or meet up with people or have experiences that were from the past version of you, you can now drop in the results of who you are now into those places and experiences and connections. Okay. It doesn't mean you're going backwards, because I think a lot of times we were taught, what the old way was like, to stay away and keep moving forward. But like I've said again, I just don't think that that's realistic. In some cases it's important, but in many cases it's just more important for us to develop our ability to be able to be in this world and function in appropriately and safely and take care of ourselves within situations. Okay. It's a dance. You can discern what is the appropriate thing for you. Sometimes it's also appropriate to take a step back, take a break for weeks, months, years, whatever, and then revisit it when you're stronger. I think that that's the main point that's coming up here. Even if you've stepped away and now you're coming back or whatever have you, you've grown and you've learned so much. The situation is not going to be the same anyway. Even if no one else really changed much, you have. So that changes the whole entire outcome and the whole entire situation already. And you might be really surprised to discover how much skills you have, how much stronger you are. Okay. So allow yourself to go into these new perspectives and kind of support those parts of yourself that might feel a little sticky icky. Okay. All right, cool. I like that. I like this. Thanks, feminines. Now we're going to look at this in the other direction from the masculines. Let's see what they're saying. So, a whole new energy is coming out with this. It feels like the masculines are definitely deep in some contemplation. They're definitely tuning more into their higher energies. It feels like they're really beginning to allow that connection to their higher power to start to simmer. They're starting to embrace it. There's, to me, the energy that's coming from this is that they're still very much in their logical perspective. They're very much in their contemplative, what's my next move that I got to make? But what's coming through is that as they're allowing this higher energy, intuitive energy to come in and support them, they're allowing it to grow inside. They're allowing themselves to contemplate new perspectives. It does feel that the masculines are still feeling a bit blind with certain situations, and it's kind of coming through. They're feeling a bit uncertain and their hands are a bit tied when it comes to the feminine and their feminines, the collective. So that's fascinating. So you see how the mirror is already occurring, like both are feeling like their hands are kind of tied. There's a contemplation energy and a shift in perspective that's wanting to happen for both. And from the masculine side, it's like he was trying to figure this out and just like nothing was working from that logical physical world standpoint of what he normally does to make his next move. There's a whole other energy that's overlaying what he's always known, and he tried with all of his might to sort through it in the way that he knew how, and it just was staying very stagnant and not moving. So as he's opened up and asked for that higher power and the wisdom to come through, I kind of sense like it just reached a point of like, okay, I can't figure this out. Something's got to give. I need some support. I need some help. This very much feels to me like a form of prayer or meditation. It does not feel like this masculine is going to an external source. This feels very internally sourced with his own internal higher power energy. He's learning to self source, to self soothe. in new ways that he hasn't before, is what's coming through. I'm kind of getting that there's some overlay with this, that maybe old ways that he would do things to a certain degree and then go distract, or yeah, distract with other people, places, or things. That is not serving its purpose to that degree anymore. It's not supporting where he has grown to or where he's growing to. And so he's starting to really call on that internal energy and his own internal connection to his higher power. I feel like he's actually starting to pull it into the physical world. Like this is happening within him. He's going within and looking to his own light, but he's also opening up to that higher wisdom and how he can bring it into the physical world and let that support his next moves. And that is feeling like more of that divine higher alignment, like truly just saying, okay, what is meant for me? What really actually is in my highest alignment versus me always trying to figure it out and feeling half blind. Because I can get to a certain degree, but then I always hit all these roadblocks and I'm not really able to manifest what I want all the way. It's like he gets pieces of it, he gets parts of it, or he gets a little bit of momentum and then it stops. And it's kind of this feeling like a limitation in the system. And that limitation is what is allowing this opening to occur, because all the skills that he had within that bandwidth, it just got too small and too suffocating for where he's growing to and what he's trying to create. So you see, I'm sure feminines, you can relate to this as well. I feel like both of these messages really work within that inner union heart space for all of us that are on this journey doing our work internally. So it's interesting, but it does. It's almost like the masculine is learning to trust more of that so-called internal feminine essence. He's allowing that to, this hermit card right now for the masculine is like this light has always been in his heart. It's always been there. It was just kind of muted over. You see what I'm saying? It was covered up, it was locked away. And now he's starting to call on it. He's starting to tap into it, albeit it is an internal process. And it doesn't feel like this is something he's speaking to a lot of people about, or not anybody at all. But they might be starting to notice changes within him, how he's moving, how he's speaking, how he's caring for himself, how he's changing perspectives in ways that he never has before. And so, um, this other message is like anywhere, anytime any of us are feeling limited, like in the way that we grew up, we would feel limited by outer circumstances, right? But this is like in any circumstance where we feel limited, we can go within and find a solution. And this is not to say that going within is going to magically open the door that you think you want. Okay. I want to be very clear about this, because if you have it in your mind that you want something a certain way and it's being blocked, it may be being blocked because it's not in your highest alignment, even though it sounds and feels good. Okay. There may be something more important that your soul has contracted to do, or something that's even better than what you thought you've been trying to create, that's meant for you. And so your energy and space is actually being preserved for that. Okay. So it's not that you're doing something wrong, and it's not that somebody's stopping it and that you're getting messed with. It's that there's something else for you. But how you can find, and this is where I'm saying where you can start to discover which one it is as you get that new perspective, as you look internally, as you really break things down. It's like, is this actually what I want? Like, because sometimes what's coming through is sometimes when we feel blocked and limited, or like we can't have what we want, we start to feel frustrated and we start to feel like we're missing out or that we're losing something. And what happens is we actually can get hyper focused on what we thought we lost, thinking that that's what we wanted, when in fact, there's when we really start to break it down, that version of it wasn't really what we wanted, right? That there's something more or something new. It's just coming to me like kind of going for your dream job, right? And it keeps getting blocked. And so you end up following a different path and you find something you really love. And come to find out that dream job wasn't actually going to pan out to be what you want. Or people, they get the dream job, they get there, they work really hard, they get there, and then they realize they're exhausted. They're working 90 hours a week and they don't really even like what they're doing, right? But it was just what they were told they should like, right? But either scenario, it's like each experience is there to teach you something, but also ultimately, as you choose to align with your highest power, it's supporting you with moving into the direction of what's really meant for you. So, in truth, I believe that one of our most powerful tools ever is truly surrendering to the higher power and asking to align with what's our highest potential, right? Because then we're kind of getting out of the way, excuse me, of trying to manifest things that aren't actually in alignment with us. Because I'll keep it real with you. I went down that road years ago, trying to constantly manifest something that was never meant to be a part of my life. And it literally, not to be funny, it almost killed me because I was so stubborn about trying to make it happen. And it just wasn't the path I was meant to be on. So I kept not feeling good and getting sicker, and all of these weird things were happening. But once I stopped and I was like, no, I have to take care of myself. This doesn't feel right. I have to do something more and new, was when I started to actually learn and align with what was truly meant for me. And in retrospect, I realized like that didn't manifest because it really wasn't aligned with my path and where I was meant to be. I can see it so clear in retrospect. Okay. So that felt important. So if something is not quite working out, it might be a perspective limitation, like where maybe you don't feel good enough. So pan out and work with that. But it also might truly be that it's actually just not what's meant for you at this time or ever, because there might be a whole other gorgeous path waiting for you right around the next corner. Okay, loves, I actually really enjoyed this heart space message between the masculine and feminine collectives. I do plan on coming on and talking to you about some of the information and downloads and energies I received while I was on my trip. There was quite a bit. Yes, there was like some cosmic energies, some Atlantis Lemurian stuff, some ancestral stuff, some planetary Earth stuff. It was quite a bit. But I'm super excited because a lot got done in a very short amount of time because of how much faster we're moving. But there's a lot of beautiful energies integrating and healing within the core wound of the collective, of the planet. And I'm very excited about that. So we'll be talking about that soon. And I, of course, would love to hear from you. I'm so grateful for those of you who continue to be here and support the channel. And I look forward to coming back into sessions tomorrow. So I'm going to see a bunch of you over the next few weeks, and I'm happy to do so. I love you. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. Love you. Bye.